Hello, welcome back to the Trekway. I'm Trev, that's Gray, and we pause our Prodigy reviews for this small interlude of San Diego Comic Con Star Trek news goodness. Um, and we have a few things, Gray, on the agenda. This won't take too long. This will be more of a gripe, right? I'm just going to say that from both of us because
That's it's a good and a bad, all rolled into
well,
one.
yeah. But I want mostly good, and it's a mixed
Yeah.
bag. It really is. We'll start off with we saw trailers for pretty much everything they're working on, and the first thing we saw was the trailer for the last season of Lower Decks, season
And a
five,
date.
and a date, October 24th. I'll just give my opinion on it, Gray, and then by all means you can chip in with yours.
Hmm?
This looks more of the same silliness from them that we all love and expect. More shenanigans. Klingons are getting the piss taken out of them in this, but the looks of it, which is brave. We saw another Cerritos in this, a Cerritos standoff,
Yeah.
a duplicate. Yep. And something about Mariner says something about something what got up her poop window or poop chute or whatever she said, like, which is just pretty rude even for Star Trek's terms, but um, it's the more silliness, right? But the thing is with this, great, you don't actually get the trailer until the second half of the trailer, if that makes sense. The start of it
Yeah.
is the kind of build up part to it, and it had
Right.
the classic OG Trek movie music, which I love. That always gets the hairs standing up in the back of my neck. And then we kick into the trailer with the silliness and the goofiness. What did you make of it, Gray? More of the same? Shame it's finishing? What?
Pretty much. I mean, what I kind of liked at the beginning, like you were saying, what they did actually, and I remember this. I don't know if you do. So when Star Trek: The Motion Picture first came out in 1979, they had it back then. They used movie trailer announcer voices, and there's been a few classic voices in the past, and what they did is this person, whoever it was imitating the guy. I think his name is Fontaine. Anyway, he was imitating the guy, and he starts going like, with that gravelly, ruffled voice, and he starts going Lower Jack season 5, and he starts doing this stuff, and then the music that they played is exactly the music that they played on the trailer for Star Trek: The Motion Picture. The voice and the music. And I'm sitting there going like, wow, somebody remembers something. Because in fact, I used to have copies, believe it or not, somewhere, I don't know where, of the trailers for Star Trek: The Motion Picture. In fact, it's probably available on YouTube. But if it is, if you go back and look at it, and you see the trailer, the TV spot trailer, which is more like it. You hear the guy's gravelly voice, you hear that music, and they exactly did the same thing. So I was just like going, "Oh, that's cool." I said, "I really like that whole throwback thing." So that was neat.
Yeah. Hmm.
I did think the part where they go, what they say? They said, this is like they're talking about how it's their last mission or whatever, and then they freeze everything, and then you hear them come on and say, "Well, it's not going to be our last mission. Are you kidding? We're always going to be like on missions," and that was kind of draggy a little bit.
Yeah,
And
it
then they got
was.
into the silliness. I didn't know whether maybe it was just me, but didn't it seem like it was very Mariner centric though, even though it was goofy?
It kind of mostly has been, though. I know Boymes is a big part of it, but it always has been. I would say more of it focused on her than anyone else because she is the captain's daughter as well.
True.
She is not the silliest. That's probably Boimler, but she is definitely the biggest pain in the ass of many people and officers and
See, I want to
captains.
see more Dr. Cat and a few of the other
Supporting
characters.
cast, mate. We didn't see. I
I
don't know
know,
if
I
we
know.
got a still of the cat. I've forgotten because you keep saying Doctor Cat. I've forgotten the cat's name now. Because of you, that's your fault.
I know it is. I know. I'm sorry, but I can't help it. It
And
just, it
and then we
just,
got Shax as well. That's the cat's lover.
yeah.
Shax. We didn't.
I mean, overall, I thought it was great. I liked it. It was funny. I'm sorry it's going to be the last season or whatever because it is humorous. And it was meant to be a cartoon, not an animated feature per se.
Yeah.
And it's funny, so it has a purpose, and I've grown to like it more over time. So
Excellent.
I'm sorry to see that that supposedly this is the last season. I mean, maybe it's better you go out on a high. I don't know. So I hope this season's going to be good. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
I don't know why season 5 has to be the new season 7. I don't get that one. If it's good and the viewing figures are still good, then great, keep doing it. However, we know Paramount is a bit skint, although the deal with Skydance is confirmed, although there's a 45-day come and get me plea from anyone else before it's 100%, 110% sealed. But it looks like that's going to go ahead, and that'll be good for business because Skydance do want Star Trek in their portfolio. Of course they do. So that'll be good. But if they're still broke at the moment, which they are, Paramount, then it makes sense for them to stop after season 5 of Lord X, because they can only have so many shows on at once, as we all know. And if that made way for, say, Legacy or something, wishful thinking, then that's okay by me. But I mean, yeah, I think that's a bit off in the distance still. It will happen. Guarantee you, Legacy will happen. We just don't know when.
About 10 years. Well, I'm not going to rush this thing, but as we get to the other stuff, it starts becoming clear, sort of, as to what's going on and why. And Skydance taking over could be, you know what? It could be get worse or it could get better. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
We started off good. I think as we go through the news, it slowly gets worse, I guess, in our opinion. And I didn't mean to do it this way. It worked out like that.
We'll keep on the positive junk until we get to that stuff.
When I was typing away, it just was coincidence that I started off in better news before going downhill. And of course, you guys may disagree, which is fine. Then we move on to Strange New Worlds, Grey. Of course, as I said, Lord X, October 24th. It's not too far away, which is good. We were advised it was going to be out autumn, winter time of this year, and they're staying true to the word, so that's fine. Strange New Worlds Season 3. We don't know if that'll be the last season or not. I would like to think they could get up to a 5th season as well, but we'll see. Viewing figures are everything, so if it does well again, who knows. That is 2025, and they're playing it loose on purpose because, so Lord X would be on for, it has 10 episodes. It should have 20, by the way, considering it's got the same length of runtime as Prodigy, right? Should be 20, but I bet you'll be 10 again, or something like that.
God, I hope not. That's silly. They have time to do more.
Well, the reason Prodigy is 20 is because it's the exact same content of 10 episodes of normal full-length Trek, so this is just cheaper for them to do. So if that's on for 10 episodes, that's 2.5 months, which takes us into early next year, because they don't tend to take breaks in streaming for the most part. That's the positive thing with streaming. And that would mean, if we get 2025 for Strange New Worlds, I think, my opinion, and we'll get to this, we will see Section 31 movie before we'll see Strange New Worlds, because it's been in the pipeline a bit long, and its post-production will be either done or almost done. So that's just my 2 pence worth, Grey. I think literally they'll have a small break. I reckon we will see in April time next year, we will get, between February and April, probably April, I reckon we'll get Section 31 movie. And then in the summer sometime, I reckon we'll get Strange New Worlds. It'll be a while. And we shouldn't have to wait that long, because this stuff's done, but we know they're spreading it out. It's just they're a victim of their own success sometimes, Paramount. They really are. But yeah, so it's slightly ranty, I apologise. So yeah, during this was not a trailer per se. This is actually a sneak peek. This was actually a few minutes of the episode cut out.
Yeah, it was a whole clip. I was surprised. It was like 3 minutes or something.
Well, the whole thing's like 5 minutes, but I think the clip itself, part of it was 3 minutes, and then it was showing you other bits and bobs, wasn't it? No, it
Yeah.
was a bit longer than you think. So yeah, this was
Yeah.
an actual clip from one of the episodes. We don't know which number at all. I had a little chuckle at this one. Strange New Worlds, Grey for me. I do enjoy it. I would say it's my favourite Trek of modern Trek, but I do enjoy it, and it's a little bit goofy, but it borders that line of not being too silly, thankfully. And this little
Mm.
sneak peek is of the main crew, the main bridge crew, getting some kind of shot to make them literally Vulcans in terms of mind and body for a mission they're going on that requires all Vulcan wit and strength, and they're all going to get their jabs at the same time to make them full Vulcans,
Right.
not half Vulcans like Spock. So it'll be full, and they all get their jab, and it's like, yeah, you ready? 3, 2, 1. And I must admit, Anson Mount, man, needs a fucking award. Excuse my French. He really does, man. The way he just collapses, like, oh, like his skeleton had literally just been removed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so much fun. The guy should be a stuntman. He enjoyed that. A lot of them enjoyed it. They're crawling on the floor, like all the emotions and the pain. And I enjoyed this. Gray. What was your opinion on it?
Oh, I thought I was trying to figure out what. Obviously, only Eclipse, so you can't figure out everything. I was trying to figure out like what this mission was, but it didn't matter. So when they got the shot, I thought it was really good because they all reacted, probably what would happen. I mean, you're getting thrown into turned into a Vulcan all of a sudden, and they just start going nuts, crawling the floor. I thought they were gonna start puking and everything because their emotions were just everything was just going bananas. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there trying to figure out they take a shot of Spock, and your Spock has got this I don't know, interesting expression that he's kind of like, this is kind of interesting, and he kind of felt bad for him at the same time, and stuff. But then when they all just got back up again, finally they're all like, boing, like somebody flipped a switch.
And Pike's hair, mate. What the hell was that about? I mean, listen, that made
Yeah.
zero sense what happened to his hair. But do you want to know something? This is one of these times where you and I say things need to make sense in Trek, right? And we'll call people
Yeah.
out and we'll nitpick. That's what we're all about. This is a nitpick that I won't even get involved with, and I'll let it slide because it's Anson Mount has stunning hair. Like I mean, I would love to hopefully still have hair like that when I reach his age, right? But but the man, even when he's normally Pike, has a good bit of gel in there or whatever they use, and it's just styled nicely, right? This is, I swear to God, do you know what he looked like? He looked like Guile from Street Fighter. You know the guy with the blonde
Oh,
hair?
yeah,
It looks
yeah.
like the brush, and he's an American soldier.
Yeah.
It's pointed right up like that and perfectly flat with the pointy ears.
Yeah.
What?
No, it was pretty crazy looking. I listen. We all know. I think they're doing this on purpose because there's so many jokes and memes out there of his hair and how it has a life
Yeah.
of his own. And there's a couple of times, remember, where he did a clip from the set and he was saying like, we just wrapped on the season or whatever, and his hair is like already looking like weird, and I'm sure he does it on purpose.
Yeah.
So now it's a thing, and I think the writers are going like, what can we do that we can screw with his hair, and they just come up with this, and it's just like, wow.
That was, yeah, it was pretty good, man. It was a chuckle. I don't even think we find out what that mission was. I don't think the
No.
mission is important, like Gray says. It's the whole getting the jab, and then Nurse Chapel tries to. Oh, actually, no. Dr. Mbenga tries to give them the jab to reverse it, and it doesn't work. And then Spock's just like, oh shit. But-
Great.
because he would have been shown up. I think he was shown up down in the mission because they were 100% Vulcans, so they outperformed him. And I don't think he's a fan of that, Spock. With his he can't show emotion, but he does. See, that's the genius thing, right? That is a genius thing that Leonard Nimoy done well, and I think everyone that's played Spock since has done well as well. To be fair, is show. You're Vulcan, of course, but you're only half Vulcan. Show that emotion, but not showing the emotion, if that makes sense, Gray. And it's
Yeah,
very
you gotta learn how
hard
to play
do.
the fine line.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It's really difficult to do, man. And
What I thought was one of the funniest things in the whole clip, though, is that apparently, and again, we don't know everything, but apparently they're all going down there because they have to fix something. They
Yeah.
mentioned it, but I don't know what the hell they were talking about. They had to fix something. So the thing that was hilarious was they beamed down, and within a minute, it's already fixed, and they're on their way back. And the whole crew is going like, and the bridge crew is going like, what do you mean they're on their way back? They just got there and they just go, everything's fixed, and then just come back. And I was cracking up. I'm sitting there going like, so 4 Vulcans and a half Vulcan were able to fix this thing in no time,
It
and
was comical.
it it was pretty funny. But when they got the shot, you're right, and they couldn't reverse. Their Spock's looking like he's trying to kind of hold it in, like you're saying. He's playing the fine line, but he's got to be thinking like, oh my god. Oh, he did say a really good line. He said, what he said he was constantly reminded when they were down there fixing whatever they're fixing of how inferior he is because he's only half Vulcan.
That's
And I was
harsh.
like, oh no.
Yeah.
And he's going like, geez, I can't change him back. I'm gonna be hearing this for the next, whatever.
We have to add
So
that we have to add that we do get some more of Scotty and Pelia. Scotty looks like he
yeah,
is taking up his at least initial position, like he did in TOS in the transporter room, before he moves
right,
in and takes Pelia's job. And Pelia is that's hilarious with her as well. She is not affected by the jab because of her race. I
yeah,
don't think that affects her, and she's very jealous. She sees what they're going through, and she said, "That's no fun. I'm jealous. That looked like it was a blast." She's got a twisted mind. But I
yeah,
love her. She's just batshit crazy.
yeah,
And I think on the bridge as well, when they pop back after um, that quick away mission, very quick away mission, she's not too
yeah,
impressed as well because it's going to show her up for her engineering
yeah.
skills. She wasn't happy with
And
that
she
at
even
all.
and she even says it. That's what was even funnier. She says, "I'm gonna get shown up or whatever." She says it. It's like, oh boy.
It's
Yeah, she's interesting.
when she got the jab and it didn't work, Pelia, she did say, yeah, like I had the same problem with LSD in the 1960s,
Yeah,
1990s,
yeah, that was good.
and last July, last
Yeah,
July.
she goes 60s, 80s, 90s, and last July, and I'm like, oh my god. I said that was great. That was classic. Because
She's
I
local.
thought she was gonna stop at that point, but when she went further and then said last July, I'm like, oh my god.
I'd imagine drugs are legal in the future, so she's probably not going to get a court martial from Starfleet for that. So, um,
I mean, she is. Her race is definitely old. It's kind of like there with the Guinan. They lived
yeah,
for I don't know,
long,
thousand
long
years or
time.
whatever.
Long, long time. So yeah, no, that does look good. And imagine they are in post production at that at the moment, so it would be ready on paper to go soon. But again, they're not. They don't want to show it all at once. I get it. So it's just don't the first half of 2025, please. Paramount, that'd be
Yeah, I
nice.
would think so. Yeah.
Don't sit in it for that length of time. Ridiculous. So,
I'm kind
um,
of hoping a little bit more better than what you were saying. I'm thinking, well, again, we don't know if this is going to happen, but I was thinking maybe if they did Section 31 like February or late February, then you could probably have Strange New Worlds like in April. I mean, that's bad
too
enough, but at
close.
least yeah, it's a
The,
little bit better. But
the,
yeah, if we have to wait till summer, man,
the
oh my
the
gosh,
spread thing. The
that's a
only
long time.
reason I gave you the timeline I did earlier on is because of how they tend to usually have a 2-3 month break in between Trek shows, and they might change that for a one-off Trek movie. It's still going on. I believe. I don't know if all the Star Trek panel stuff is finished or not. Um,
Um, I I think there's some going on as we're recording this. So I think there still might be more coming.
but if that's why I
I'm
was
not sure.
contemplating whether to do this little kind of review news episode thing just now, or wait. If there's more stuff, we can come back, or I can do a short or something. Because
Yeah.
while the main trailer stuff's being released, we are there are rumors, and they're just rumors at this stage, that they'll announce a Picard movie because they're going to do a movie once every 2 years. And I would not be averse to a Picard. I wouldn't, not after Picard season 3. If it's got Terry Metalis behind it, or Jonathan Frakes, and it's just got good people, it will be good. But your thoughts on that, Gray? Would you welcome that? Would you not welcome that? I mean,
Um,
we'll move on to section 31 in a minute, and
uh,
it doesn't look good. So,
I think I might have mixed feelings because if there's a really good chance that Metalis and Frakes won't be on the movie. because they're off doing their own thing, and Metalis is working with Disney and developing shows for them. He has said more often than not that he would like to return to Star Trek or get involved in it, but he absolutely is not giving any kind of time frame whatsoever. And that was bad enough. But then when Frakes just left, and with I'm going on to other things, but I'll come back one day, and he just leaves. I'm like, oh boy, this doesn't sound good. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Now, besides all that, the other thing I don't know is that yes, I thought Patrick Stewart was pretty good, or really good, I guess, in season 3. But I mean, dude, he's getting really old, man. He can't keep up that kind of pace. And
Yeah.
by the time that movie were to come out, he's going to be 2 to 3 to 4 years older than he is now.
No, the rumours are, Gray, that they'd be ready to start shooting that soon. Probably
Well, even
before,
so, I
but
mean,
by the end of the year, start of next year, at the latest, they'd start shooting it because it's been he has seen a script for it. There is a script out there for it.
then if that's the case and they're going to film it soon, then Metalis is not involved. Neither is Frakes.
No,
So that's not a good
I don't
thing.
think he would be. I don't think he would be. That's
And the other thing is, if you have to be stepping back for a second and wanting to see different things, something new, something, like along the lines of Prodigy. I mean, Prodigy was new. They hadn't done this before. They introduced a whole new crew, a new ship, everything. And it turns out to be a great series. And now we're going to go back to Picard again. I'm kind of like, you guys are afraid to do anything new? I mean, what's the story?
true. It's a safe pair of hands after what's happened in the past, Gray, and that will be his swan song. That'll be the last thing we see from him, I would imagine. And
I just think he went out on a high note with season 3. He really did.
They'll kill him off at the end of a movie. That's the problem I've got. And if they do, I'll be pissed off. It's not like, I'm sorry, you get a major captain, you have to kill the captain. No, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah.
And the way Kirk died was the most awful death in the whole of sci-fi history. It was such a waste and crap. If you're going to die, make it epic. And that wasn't epic. Sure. The guy fell down and then said, "Oh my, that's pathetic." No, I'm not blaming Shatner.
Yeah.
But anyway, right. So I want to move on because I fear the ranty bit takes up a bit of time. So second to last, Section 31 movie. Now, that's 2025. We don't know when. Hopefully, it's the beginning of the 2025. I like Gray. Well, I'll let Gray comment for himself in a moment, but myself certainly was really looking forward to this because you had Central in Discovery season 2, so Starfleet HQ computer system gone rogue. And Section 31 was involved a bit in that as well, and it was very dark and covert, and I liked their ships, and I liked everything about Section 31. It's just mysterious. I watched this, and the best way I can describe this trailer was very similar to the Borderlands trailer, which is not a bad thing. Borderlands looks batshit crazy and a great joyride. I can't wait for that movie next month. But that isn't Star Trek. That looked very similar to Borderlands for me. You get a lot of Georgiou, of course. Her parents are going to be in this. I don't know if it's flashbacks. She's got her own crew for Section 31. But the thing is, it barely looks Section 31 at all. It barely looks Star Trek at all. In fact, I couldn't see anything Star Trek in it at all. Generally, I couldn't see anything. The ship they're in doesn't even look like a Section 31 ship. The Section 31 ship from Discovery does look Federation-esque, kinda, a little bit. This just looks more like the Infinity or something. It just random ship completely. The characters, I don't like the characters. Georgiou does have a character in this that he's the guy from Silo, Gray, if you remember the bad guy from Silo, the black guy with the beard and the bald head. Yeah, he's from Silo. So he's like, listen, the actors themselves, I'm sure they've chosen brilliant actors for this. No qualms about that. But people might say to me, Gray, right, before you come in, people might say to me that wait until you see it. And of course I will watch it. I'm a Star Trek fan, and this is what we do here. I will watch it. But saying that, they could say, wait until you watch it. Maybe it's better than the trailer. The idea of a trailer, people, is to give you a flavour of what is about to come. If
Right.
if I watch this movie and it's nothing like the trailer, then I've done a piss poor job of that trailer, and it's not done its job. It just looks god awful. The music as well. At Kurtzman, I've turned my soundboard off, but I apologise again for this, but it has to be said. Kurtzman, please fuck off. Gray, opinions, please.
I mean, you, what can I say? You pretty much said a lot of it, but I agree 100%. And the other thing is when you do a trailer, whether it be a teaser trailer or a full trailer, usually it's the accusation of a trailer is the opposite. So in other words, you could have a bad movie, but the trailer has all like the best stuff, whatever,
We normally
from the
complain that a
movie.
trailer has half the movie in it, don't we? And that's probably a problem because you show too
Yeah,
much in the trailer.
right. But there's been so many movies out there that were bomb movies that the trailer looked great.
Yeah.
And it did its job. It made it look great, you know, or whatever. This is really strange because I don't see any reason why you wouldn't make a trailer as good as you can, even if the movie's not that great, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I feel even worse about this because if that's true, and there's no reason to believe it's not, because that's how you do trailers, that means what we saw, the movie ultimately could be far worse than we're seeing in that trailer if that's supposed to be some of the best stuff, little clippets of the best stuff. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, I'm like you, man. I saw this and I'm just going like, wow, this movie looks like a bomb already. And that's just a short trailer. It
It's
was just awful.
the movie. The thing is, right? This movie could potentially be good, could be brilliant, but it isn't. The problem is it doesn't look or feel or sound like Star Trek
Yeah.
at all. So if you took away Star
Right.
Trek for this and just called it, I know it's not called Star Trek Section 31. If you just called this Borderlands or something, right? You'd be like, that looks
Star
like a
Trek
good
Borderlands.
trailer, and the movie looks good. You know, the movie could. It looked like some kind of covert heist that was going on potentially in this movie. And I'm sorry, that's what they do in Borderlands. You know, so are you copying Borderlands? Like, Borderlands sure as hell didn't copy you. They've got more sense than that. I'm baffled. Like Gray said, one of two things has happened, and both of them are horrifying. The trailer's not representative of the movie, in which case the trailer's not it's not done its job, or
Right.
that is an indication of the movie, and if that's the case, it looks bloody awful.
Right.
So
And it's just bad news all the way around. That's the thing that's weird about it. You can't really even say anything good. It's just terrible. I mean, from the first frame of this music that they put on, I mean, that music was crap.
well, as a
You didn't hear
Trek,
any it not Trek at all. It was just like some kind of I don't even know what to call it. It was just kind of like an off
gangster or something,
rappy
or
sounding something. I don't know. It's and it just was, and there was even not even an inkling of Trek music. None. Not even a few notes to show you that it was Star Trek. It was nothing. And I'm like, wow, that's not good. I mean, you Trek is Trek. You got to have Trek things that bring you in. And as I'm watching it, I'm looking like it, thinking like this is a soap opera. This is just a bad soap opera. And I'm sitting there going like, you can't. Ugh, it's really hard.
all I hope, Gray, is that I'll try and look at the glass half full and hope that it is better than it is, because Michelle Yeoh would not sign up for a shit movie. Like, she's an Oscar-winning actor, to be fair. She wouldn't sign up for a she'd read the script and enjoy it. So let's hope that someone will have her talent and taste goes, this was a good movie, that's why I'm doing it, and it turns out to be a good movie. The performances of the actors will not be in question. I'm sure that they've picked good people, like I said, and that won't be the problem. It'll be the story and the context and the
Sure.
how many Red Bulls do I need to drink to keep me awake through this bloody movie, because it could be dull.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add to Section 31 before we move on to the last part, Gray?
I no, I think we've done it all. It's really disappointing because I was really expecting a hot trailer and really seeing some interesting stuff and some familiar music that was what we're used to with Trek and we got none of it.
Do you know
And
what
I'm
I'm,
just like, wow.
do you know what I was expecting? Actually, I think I touched on this.
But
Vibes and scenes from how Section 31 looked in season 2 of Discovery. You know, in the cool
yeah,
ship,
yeah,
dark, covert, like they haven't paid the electricity bill, everything's bloody dark on the ship, and
yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
vibe. And Philippa George being her evil self, and expected to see something like that with like not Central because they're gone, but something along that
yeah,
kind of big bad and very covert. I saw not one inkling of Trek in that.
yeah.
Nothing.
And what little bit we saw of Michelle Yeoh, it was, it just seemed to me like it was more comical than her usual character. It just was so off. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
I know.
really don't. I'm really not expecting much. I'm hoping it's like what we think, that they just did a bad trailer and the movie will be far
A
better.
lot better. Yeah.
Because if it's the other way around, boy, are we in for yeah.
See, the problem you've got is Kurtzman's contract is either coming to an end or it's coming to an end soon. And the people at Paramount don't ideally want him, but there's rumours, if it hasn't happened already, that he would get a small extension signed because, well, I don't agree with that. I understand why they're doing it. It's like a caretaker thing until Skydance managed to get into the office, get their feet under the table, and then see what's happening and then make changes themselves. So that might be a thing that happens. I hope that if that does happen, that they pick someone a lot better. I mean, listen, do you know who
Yeah.
in fact, are you a showrunner if you look after the whole franchise? No. Are you? Yeah, I guess you are,
No,
but
you're
you're.
a showrunner of that show.
What's Alex Kurtzman
Uh,
then? What's his position or title?
he would. He's like the
The Star
executive
Trek boss.
producer
He's a Star Trek
of
boss.
all of it.
So I want
Yeah,
Terry Metalis to get that job. And I
yeah,
would love that, like to get Alex
I would
Kurtzman's
too.
job. And then
Yep.
he would still write a little bit because, you know, and direct a little bit because like that he doesn't just want to step aside and showrun, he wants to actually get involved. So
Sure.
we'll see. We'll see.
I
Let's,
have to I have to I have to think that he's been quiet because look, he has a career. He can't say too much.
of
But I
course,
got to think in the back of his mind, he must be sitting there going like, "Wow, this is just
dumpster
they're
fire.
doing some crazy stuff." Yeah,
He can't say
but he
too
can't
much.
say
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. He's got to be professional, and he doesn't want to piss off potential job
Right.
offers in the future. Yeah, great. We'll move on to the last thing here. Would you do me the
Sure.
honours, please, of telling us about the last thing that's in the pipeline that sounds horrific?
Well, I guess this article came out of the San Diego Comic Con because a lot of things are happening or getting leaked out or whatever. But this was a bona fide article. I thought it was a joke when I first read it. But they basically said that Tawny, I forgot her last name, the one that does the
Mariner.
voice for Mariner.
Yep.
Right. She is now apparently some kind of ace writer, I guess. I don't know how she got that.
She wrote on Space Force, mate, and that is hilarious. To be fair,
No, I'm not saying she's not talented. I'm just saying that now she, besides I guess co-writing some of the Lower Decks episodes, they decided that they want to go
well, so
the
she
full
did.
comedy
I
route.
forgot about that. Oh.
Yeah, I said they said that she does, instead of doing the cartoon funny one Lower Decks, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
They decide that they want to make a situation comedy out of Star Trek. And I read the article and it says the Dear White People filmmaker and Lower Decks voice star are working with Alex Kurtzman on a live action comedy. And I thought, no, that must mean something else. Let me read the article. And I'm reading the article and it's freaking true. And I'm sitting there going like, no. And worse than that, they say they want to make the series Star Trek The Office, if you wanted to get an idea of what they would like to do with the comedy show. So imagine taking The Office or comedies of that nature, and then just dropping Star Trek into it.
Is that not
And
Lower
I'm
Decks?
like,
To be fair, kinda Star Trek Office.
yeah, I mean, it almost sounds like it's going to be Lower Decks live action essentially, which doesn't work.
No, it
But when they
doesn't.
start talking about The Office, and I'm going like, oh man, you know, or Parks and Recreations, both which are good shows.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to sit there and just drop Star Trek into that. I'm sitting there like, I have visions of like, you know, Captain Pike and Spock and everybody walking around the set, and they play laugh tracks as everything's happening. Hey, Spock, what did you think of? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you've hit some low now. So we're reeling already from Section 31, and then I hear this, and I read this article, and I'm like, what are you doing? I can tell you right now, I know some of the reasons why I think this might be happening. Number one, they always have this misconstrued thing that, we have to come up with all kinds of wacko things for Star Trek because we have to appeal to a broader audience. That's one of their famous lines.
Hmm.
Second, it is much less expensive to do a comedy, a situation comedy, than it is to do what we really want to see, and that is a sci-fi show with the proper effects, etc.
Yeah.
So right there, it already tells me that if you're going to do a comedy sitcom kind of thing with Trek, you don't have to have a lot of effects. Hell, you don't even have to have any really high paid actors either. You can get some decent good actors
That'll be a lot cheaper, won't
for
it,
much
Gray,
lower.
to do this?
Oh, much cheaper. Not even
Yeah.
funny, much cheaper. And so I'm just going like, wow, man, this is just. I was just so disappointed when I saw Section 31. And then when I read this, I go, no, man, it's a 1-2
So,
punch. They're
so
just.
yeah, someone already took Gray down. They punched him in the gut, right, with Section 31, and he fell over, right. And then when he was on the floor, this news came about the comedy, and that was just them kicking Gray in the balls while he was already down.
That's the knockout punch. And I'm like, bleh. And I'm just going like, I just can't get over this. So now if you add that into the fact that Starfleet Academy is coming, and you already know my views on that. Granted that we know that Picardo was going to be in it and a couple other people, which is great. I'm
We
not
should
saying
talk
that's
about
not
that as well.
a bad thing,
Yeah.
but we don't need a Starfleet Academy. I don't care. I don't care if it's. I don't know. I don't care if the best actor in the world is in it. The point is that we never needed a show like that. And oh, there goes the dog. Sorry. And
It's all good.
but I'm saying like, wow. So now we get hit with a show we really don't need, and everybody's calling it 90210 in space, and stuff. And then we get hit with Section 31, and now we get hit with a sitcom, and I'm like, what is going on with Trek,
Right.
man?
I'll give you my 2 pence worth in it. Whether you want, if you want
Yeah.
to sort Coco out or not, then go for it, mate. So my 2 cents in this is, again, I watch it like I watch everything because it's Star Trek and make my opinion on it, and we kind of have to for the Trekway channel. But I won't go into it with high hopes. The problem you've got is we thought Lower Decks when it first started wouldn't work, Gray and I, because we're like, yes, there's a bit of humour in Star Trek, but it's not like ha 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 all the way through. It's little funny moments and it's subtle and it works. And then Strange New Worlds ramped it up a little bit, so it's a little bit funnier again than say TOS, but it was manageable. Lower Decks comes along. Well, Lower Decks was there first, and I was pleasantly surprised. It took us a bit of time to get into it. I think especially with Gray, it took a bit longer for him to get into it and enjoy it more so. But we both love it now. We adore it, and we don't want it to go. It makes me it makes me laugh, and because it was animated and because it was set in the Lower Decks, you could get away with it. So then when they crossed over with Strange New Worlds, Gray and I were both concerned. We're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work, and they knocked it out the park. I mean, fair play, they done a cracking job. It was the usual Strange New Worlds humour, maybe dialed up a bit, but not as high as Lower Decks. They met each other in the middle on a comedy level, which worked. So I thought it was brilliant. The actors that do Boimler and Mariner bringing down their levels a bit to fit into live action, and it really worked so well. So this show, when this comes about, is I'm going to watch this and I'm going to think The Office. It's going to be like Section 31. Like, and what I mean by that is, it's nothing. It looks and feels and sounds nothing like what it's supposed to be. There won't be many hints of Trek to it. Can you imagine TNG, Voyager, them walking up and down the decks and it's The Office? I'd be horrified, man. I would be horrified.
I know it's horrifying to just think about it, and that's exactly. But they didn't even hold back. They just said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make a comedy and think The Office or Parks and Recreation." And I'm going like, "You seriously are saying this in the article that this is what you're gonna do?" And I'm like, "Wow."
Here's a thought. Maybe actually have I'll give you without it's a little tangent. I apologise. My football team, right? My football. I'm not going to call it the S word. Sorry, Greg, just not going to do it. But my football, you can guess with accent where I am and what I'm talking about. My club, my team have a fans forum, so they can stay in touch with fans a little bit more once every quarter, and they say, right, what's on your mind? What do you like? What do you dislike? Talk to people, get panels of Trekkies, get panels of non-Trekkies, so you've got balanced opinion, and you do need to both keep them happy. Like, Star Trek would not purely survive in the modern era just on Trekkies watching it. We know that. It's a difficult thing to make a show for Trekkies and non-Trekkies. It's called bloody Prodigy, for one. Right? There's a good example. There was many subtle moments for die-hard Trekkies like Grey and I and Prodigy. And there was lots of stuff for kids to watch that would enjoy. Adults, non-Trekkies, kept everyone happy. So much so that Netflix want another season. And I think it'll happen. So I'm going to be horrified to watch this, but I will give it a try. And if I'm made to eat my words, I will apologise. Never to Kurtzman, because he's an arsehole. Sure. But I will hold my hands up and say I was wrong. But again, trailers are everything. We always complain that you've just showed us the whole bloody movie or show in a trailer, and we joke and laugh, we don't need to go and see the movie now. If that's what Section 31's going to be about, then
then you feel like you don't need to see it at all.
We don't know when Academy's probably coming 2026, I would imagine, right? Although I think they've started filming or soon. I can't remember.
I think so, yeah.
Now, again, I'll watch that and give it the time of day, because that's what we do, and it could be better than we hope. I think subconsciously, Gray and I, we've got high standards in Trek, right, and rightly so. That's why we're so down about this with our opinion, so that if something comes out and it's shit like we think it is, it's a self-defense mechanism, so we won't be as hurt, and then hopefully it's better than we think and we hold our hands up. But when Academy comes out, Gray, it could be Beverly Hills 90210, right, with teenagers. It could be, but then it could be more Trekkie than we think. We don't know. I'm so glad. I know you don't like Mary Wiseman, Tilly. I know you don't like her. I do. I think she will fit better into Academy than she ever did Discovery, if that makes sense. And then you've got a couple of other Trek actors coming back, one of the which, Gray touched on this, Bob Picardo, the Doctor. And I find that fascinating, because it took him a while to get into Prodigy with the voice acting. It didn't sound like him. Then after a number of episodes, he came back to himself. He's gone back into live action now. And bear in mind, Academy's set in the 32nd, first century, and holograms don't age. Well, he can age himself, but, he doesn't die. So
he will be.
I'm really looking forward to seeing this, Great, because Bob Picardo will be, 900 years in the future from where he was initially set up, and he'll put in little subtle cues and things about Janeway and Chakotay and the Voyager and the Prodigy, and the cadets won't have a bloody clue who he's talking about, but that'll be for us, the Trekkies. That'll be so nice. That will make Academy better, I think, considering it's going to be shit. Bob Picardo might actually help save this show a little bit with his charms. So I know you're not looking forward to it, Gray, but hopefully Bob saves the day, I would say.
Well, they also have I forgot the actress's name that played, was it Reno?
Jet Reno. I can't remember her name as well. She does stand-up comedy. Yeah, that's it. Jet Reno's in it as well. Thank you, Gray. She's brilliant. She is so funny, and that's maybe why I think this could be a teen comedy. Oh dear, I said that out loud.
I know.
Oh no, I was so excited and I got sad in the same statement.
We have no idea. That's the problem. We just hear this stuff. But believe me, if they had made the proper announcements that we would like to have seen, and that would be like Legacy's coming, such and such a date, and Section 31 was the way it was supposed to look, we would be like jumping up and down and going crazy. Right now, we're jumping up and down going crazy, but for all the wrong reasons. And that's what's scary.
I've got a meme in my head, Gray, right? And I apologise for this vivid image. Alex Kurtzman standing here at the side, right? In fact, it's something taken out of a movie, with the head superimposed with Alex Kurtzman on top, right? So, and he's standing to the side with Star Trek scripts in his hand and the Star Trek franchise in his hand, and he's throwing it into the fire while pissing petroleum on it and laughing as it goes up in flames. That's what I see with Alex Kurtzman, absolutely just pissing all over Star Trek and ruining it. No one likes him, mate.
For a while.
No one likes him. He's done very little. He's done some good stuff in Trek, but it's been few and far between. Most of it is, look at Goldsman done Strange New Worlds, and that was one of the first big things that Kurtzman did not do, and it was a success. Prodigy, sorry, not Prodigy. I think Prodigy was Kurtzman's. To be fair, I'll give him some credit for that. Picard season 3 was not his.
The difference is how hands-on is Kurtzman. He wasn't that hands-on in Prodigy. He wasn't that hands-on in Strange New Worlds, and it shows. He can. The problem is it's a two-edged sword though, because he wasn't hands-on, and that was a good thing, but he takes the credit for it. And so if he takes the credit for it, he gets away with having to do what he wants, which is Academy and the new situation comedy, Star Trek, and it's just like, so for he gets one hand, on the other hand he destroys. So it's like, I don't know.
It's a double-edged sword, Gray.
That's what I was saying. So the only other thing that might bother me a little though is Skydance taking over. I got to go back and research it again, but I'm almost positive. I read one or two articles that Skydance is pretty much in bed with Bad Robot. If that's the case,
oh yeah, so they are,
and they are, then I don't see Skydance doing much better with the franchise.
Wait a minute, Bad Robot is J.J. Abrams, not Kurtzman's.
Yes, yeah, but J.J. Abrams is connected with Kurtzman on the contract.
Oh, is it? Well, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's going to be awful because I don't like JJ's stuff and I don't like Kurtzman's stuff. So either or, it's a bin fire, isn't it? So
that's why I'm worried. I mean, if they're going to sit there and they're in bed with him, then we're going to be like, wow, we can't win on any side of the coin on this one, whether it be TV or movies. Hey, look, we touched upon it on a past episode, but we also have the movie they're talking about making where it's going to be pre-Starfleet. Oh, the origins of Starfleet. It'll all take place on Earth, and we won't be going into space much. And I'm like, oh, great. That sounds exciting.
I don't mind this, Gray. I know you don't like it. I don't mind this, because this could be good. I liked Enterprise. It's not one of my favourite. It's not my most favourite Star Trek show, but I love the concept of it, and it got better as it went on. So this could be a hit, but I respect your opinion. I know you're not for it. We'll just need to time it.
I would rather take Enterprise than this. I mean, at least Enterprise, they're in space. And stuff. I mean,
space is the final frontier, not the only frontier. Come on, a lot of stuff happens planet side, man.
Yeah, but I'm not really. I mean, I'd rather, if I'm going to find out the origins of Starfleet, I'd rather read the book than see the movie.
The origins of Starfleet are on Earth. That's the whole bloody point.
Yeah, I know, I agree, but it is also a way to get around the fact that the movie is going to be cheaper to produce. They don't have to get really involved in special effects.
You will see some space stuff. You just won't see a lot of it.
Yeah, we'll see a shuttlecraft fly this way and fly back.
Yeah.
Oh, that was exciting.
a quick journey, right? A quick jaunt to the moon Jupiter.
Yeah,
and back
to the
or
moon
something.
and back. Like, oh, that was great.
Right, great.
We'll see a SpaceX rocket going.
Well, we're going to stop there, man, because as usual we ranted on too long. I mean, we don't have a time length in this episode. It's just it's news and a rant at the same time. Apologies if you don't like the rant part, but I'm sure some of you guys share our concerns. So we will wrap up there. Of course, don't forget to come and see us on our Discord, because that's where we can have conversations about Star Trek, and that's the Extreme Gaming Podcast. Just search for it in Google. It's probably the quickest way, or the link is below as well if you want to click in that. Come and speak to us about Star Trek. Come and speak to us about entertainment, all the Comic-Con geeky trailers that are out. We'll talk about that in Gray's show, which is about entertainment, Gray's Green Room. He's got a channel on the server for that as well, and we do a gaming podcast every week as well. All that's in the Discord. Come and talk to us about some or all of these things, and tell us where you came from. Until the next time, Gray, thank you, my man. Say goodbye to the people. We will see you soon.
Live long and prosper, everybody. Bye.
Bye.